summer's end, around the bend just flying. Swimming suits are on the line just drying. I'll meet you there for our conversation. I hope I didn't ruin your whole vacation. Hi, it's Bonner again. When you're a beginning guitar player, you want to learn songs as quickly as possible. Nobody likes to grind away week after week with little result. So I've developed a step-by-step method to learn songs on guitar. And here are the steps. I'm going to put them on the screen for you. Number 1, choose your song. Choose an appropriate song. 2, break the song into smaller chunks, sometimes very small chunks. Step 3, learn the chords. That's the easy part. Step 4, learn how to change. Next, we learn the basic rhythm. So learning the basic rhythm early on in the process helps us a lot. Then what we do is we practice one line at a time. Once you can play those first couple of chords, just practice the first line of the lyrics. Then practice the second vocal line. That's step 7. And then what we do is we put maybe 2 vocal lines together and we practice playing all the way from the beginning of line 1 to the end of line 2. And then we just repeat that entire process until we have the song put together. Grab your guitar and we'll look at this together. So for our example, I've chosen Summer's End by John Prine. It's a beautiful song. There are 2 important criteria when choosing a new song as a beginner. First, try to choose a song that's not too complicated, that doesn't involve too many new chords. Second criterion is always choose a song you really like. One of the things that's an eye-opener for new guitar students is it does take quite a bit of practice to be able to play a song and make it sound nice. So as a consequence, you're going to be spending some time with these songs. If you're spending time with a song that you really like and that you're stoked about learning, it's very easy to spend that time. Okay, so step 1, we chose our song. Step 2, break the song into smaller chunks. Okay, so here on the screen, you're seeing the Summer's End lyrics and chords. Okay, and we're going to just start off by looking at the verse. Okay, step 3, learn the chords in the first chunk. Okay, so again, if we look here, we can see that in the first section of this song, the only chords are the C chord and the E minor chord. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to work on learning those 2 chords first. Okay, so you probably already know these chords, but we're just going to review them for the absolute beginners or just in case. Here's the C chord. Okay, and then we're also going to have the E minor chord, which is this one here. Okay, now that we've learned those chords, step 4 in our process is practice the chord changes. So here we're going from C to E minor. So now what we have to do is work on the changes. So we start off on the C chord, which is here. Okay, and we're going to go to the E minor chord. So for us to go from C to E minor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pointer off. My middle finger can just stay where it is. I'm going to put my pointer onto the A string on the 2nd fret right above the middle and just take the ring off. Now I'm playing E minor. And to go backwards from here to C, all I do is I take the pointer off, my middle finger still stays in the same place. And what I do is I slightly rotate my fingers, reach back with the pointer to the B string, reach up here to the A string, and now I'm back on C. And again, to lock that in, I just do it a couple of times. Okay, bring the pointer up onto A, take the ring off, now I'm back on E minor. And again, take the pointer off, rotate the hand a little, reach over with the ring finger onto the A string, pointer onto the B string. Okay, and there you are, a couple of returns back and forth through the E minor and C. Just do that as many times as you need to until that starts to feel like a familiar change that you're comfortable doing. Again, for most beginners, changing between chords is the big obstacle. So take your time and spend a little time practicing the change from C to E minor and then the corresponding change from E minor back to C. This is the main skill we require to play this piece of the song. Step 5, learn the basic rhythm. If we listen to people playing the song, or if we listen to John Prine playing the song, He's playing a finger-picked rhythm, but if you listen to it, you can hear the underlying rhythm of the piece. Okay, that's the basic rhythm. Da da do da 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 do da da da. Okay, so a simple way to get your head around this, if you don't have a lot of experience, is just tap out the rhythm. Okay, so you can hear a clearly defined accent on 1 and 3 of the beat. Ta 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 ta. Okay, so if I'm going to represent that, because I haven't gotten to the finger picking part yet because I'm a beginner student, I just want to play that rhythm. So I might go. Okay, that's the strumming pattern, and I'll put that on the screen for you. It's thumb, up, down, thumb, up, down, thumb, up, down, thumb, up, down. Okay, so we'll try using that as our pattern. It's really important that you have a clearly defined rhythm, well defined. You practice it a little bit so that you're not scrambling around to try and remember the rhythm every time you sit down to practice your song. Step 6, practice the first vocal line. Here is a very powerful trick. When we listen to songs, our mind takes a snapshot of all the details of the song and stores that in your memory. That's why when you're listening to a song and like it's a bad cover version or something, you're instantly sort of go, oh, that's not how that song goes, because you know how that song goes. The way so we have all this information in our brain. How do we access that information? We access that information, it's filed under the melody. When you listen to a song and you start to sing along with the song, your mind starts to fill in all the other details, and you start to hear, oh, that chord changes here, or you hear where the phrasing is, or you remember exactly where the singer pauses in a line. This is a very powerful piece of information for us to have. While we're first practicing this song, we're going to sing along. But I know you're all scared. Nobody said we had to sing. You don't have to sing. Here's the thing. We're just going to sing along in our head. We're going to have the words in front of us, and we're just going to, and so when you're practicing, it might end up sounding like, na, 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 na. It can be, you can be silent. You can just sing along in your head and give yourself the voice of John Prine if that's what you want to do. What's important is that you follow the words and you imagine singing while you're playing. And the reason is because the melody is your connection to all the stored information you have in your brain from listening to the song and from knowing the song. So as you play, you will find yourself automatically adjusting your strumming and your chord changing timing to line up with this snapshot that you have. And the way you access that snapshot is by singing along. So you don't have to sing out loud. You can just sing into your own head. Okay? So what we do is we just strum along and we just sing. Summer's end, round the bend, just flying. Swimming suits are on the line, just drying. Okay, so that's the exercise that you want to go through. And again, our first chunk is just the first couple of lines of the song. So first we start off and we just practice the first vocal line. Step 7, practice the second vocal line just the same way that we just did the first one. So the point I'm getting at here is we're not trying to work on too much at a time. We're just working on one little piece and then the next little piece. So our first little piece is summer's in, around the bend, just flying. And I'm going to mention in here, if you have any uncertainty about what the rhythm is or how the song sounds, just go back to YouTube and watch the song again, or just even a tiny section of the song that you're working on. Refresh your memory, listen, then come out here and practice. And as always, adjust your speed accordingly. Don't worry about playing fast. You can play the song as slow as you like. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get some sense of familiarity about what our timing is. Playing the chords and the strumming isn't too hard. Get everything to line up in exactly the right time. Takes a little bit of practice for us to get comfortable with. So then, step 7, we're going to do the same thing with the second line as we did with the first. Step 8 is you take your whole first chunk. So for us, if our first chunk is just the first half of the first verse, that's plenty. That's enough of a chunk for us to work on to get started. We want to work on small, manageable chunks, really get to know them well, and then work on a new small, manageable chunk in just the same method that we did here. The stuff comes together very, very quickly because you're not biting off more than you can chew. You're not trying to do more than you can do at once. And you give yourself a chance to internalize all these skills that you're putting together. So that's the whole approach. Just to review, here's what we talked about today. Step 1, choose an appropriate song. A song that you really like, a song that's not too hard. 2, break the song into smaller chunks. It can be verse, chorus, it can be half of a verse, just a little piece. You just want enough that you have something that sounds a little bit musical, but not so much that you get tired working on it. Number 3, make sure you know the chords. If you don't know the chords, come back to Bonner Guitar. I got chord videos coming out the wazoo. All the chords you will ever need are on my page. Once you know the chords, then you have to practice the changing from the first chord to the second chord. That's step 4. Step 5, learn the basic rhythm. Okay, so we have to listen to the song and go, okay, what's the basic rhythm of this? Whether you're strumming or playing fingerstyle, and a good way to learn the basic rhythm is to tap the rhythm out on your hands as if you're playing like wood blocks or a little drum. Then we just practice the first vocal line. Always try to practice just one vocal line at a time because it bites the small chunk already down into a smaller bite. And practice the first vocal line because we just want to work on a small piece at a time. And then practice the second vocal line. Once you have 2 phrases learned and comfortable with, then what we do is we assemble those 2 phrases into a little chunk and we practice that chunk. Then we roll forward and go through the same exercise with our next chunk. So as you can see, it's a simple, easy to follow process that gets you practicing and playing immediately. If you use this process, you can start working on a song today. If you're working on this song, I'm going to suggest that you grab the next 2 lines of the verse and follow the exact same process that we just went through on your own. Leave me a comment and let me know how you're doing. I hope you're getting value from these lessons. If you are, please subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe, but it does make a difference to me with YouTube. I'm Bonner, and I hope you'll visit Bonner Guitar again soon. I'll see you then.